Hey everyone, this is Pig4Life, and in today's P4L review, we'll be taking an early look at a pre-production model of Fans Toys FT-12T Grenadier, and this is their toy version, so that it is going to come in two versions. But yeah, this is the toy version with the purple chest. And again, this is the pre-production sample, so we'll be looking at a version that isn't quite finished yet, but should be pretty close, and at least should be very representative of what you may be getting in the next month or so when this guy is actually fully released. With that said, let's go ahead and get started with robot mode review. And let me get started by saying, even though this is the pre-production sample, I didn't get all of the pieces that are supposed to come with the final figure. So what the figure is supposed to come with are some extra accessories. So he's going to have two different color chests, this nice yellow one that you see here, and a translucent kind of orange yellow one. So I didn't get that. And he comes installed with these insect legs, which are really highly posable, nicely detailed, which we'll show off when we get into alt mode, but not really accurate as far as the G1 version of the character. So they actually included another set, so 6 legs of a more G1 accurate look if you wanted to replace that, and I didn't get that either. And last but not least, I didn't get his gun, his blaster, which he was supposed to come with. So unfortunately, I'm just looking at the main bot itself, so I apologize to not be able to show you everything that you're going to get with this guy, but at least we have the main figure itself. It would be way worse if it was vice versa. I only had the accessories and not the main figure. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started with a quick 360. And I always love the Fans Toys kind of styling. I think they've done a really good job of always kind of balancing the G1 look of the cartoon and toy, you know, taking bits and pieces of each and making into one kind of modernized version of the character. So they're not totally G1 loyalist, and I do appreciate that. I'm looking for a modernization when I'm looking for my MP figures. So I think this guy does a really good job of that. And a few things to be aware of. First thing when you pick up this guy is that he is unbelievably heavy for his size. That's due in large part by Fans Toys' MO of having a lot of die cast, especially in the lower legs here. This whole section here I think is die cast, and there might be some other pieces that I'm not really seeing, but yeah, a lot of his leg is die cast, which is really nice. If you come to own or hold any of Fans Toys figures, you know that's kind of their MO of having a really nice die cast, really fun transformation, keeping it pretty simple. So you're going to get that with Grenadier. So things that we can go through right now in robot mode besides that are the, again, purple chest. So unlike Bag Cubes, which has only like one quote-unquote version that has the color changing chest from a gray, cartoon accurate gray robot mode to the purple alt mode, this guy comes with just the purple chest for the toy version, the T version, and then the cartoon version will have gray. So you'll either be stuck with gray for both modes or purple for both modes, depending on which figure you like. I personally have always liked the purple, but I also did like the Fans Toys, the Bag Cubes version where they gave you kind of the best of both worlds. As far as overall look, like I said, he looks really great. One of the things that most people will complain about is probably his backpack, and he does have a pretty sizable backpack in that his 4 legs up here make up his back, as well as part of his horn for his beetle mode. And down here at the bottom, he has significant heels, again made up from the inside legs. These are probably going to be a bit smaller if you switch it out with the G1 accurate legs, but they also give it a pretty substantial heel. You're either going to like it or not. I don't mind it too much, but I think they could have done a little bit better making that less protruding. So let's go ahead and take a look at the head sculpt. And this is one of probably like my favorite in some sense and least favorite parts of the figure. So I think the actual face mask and eyes itself look really great. really menacing with his face mask, his grill, this nicely metallic red eyes that really do pop. The thing I don't like that much about him is the way that they handled his kind of antenna. I forget what they call that in the show, but where he shoots his like pods and everything like that. I kind of wish it was a little bit bigger and had a bit taller of a mount. That's the one thing for me personally that I think they didn't do as good of a job accurately capturing. But again, that's just my take. His head, as far as articulation goes, is, I believe, on a ball joint because you do get a little bit of bobble going on. You do get a head turn, and you can probably force it all the way around, but you get basically 90 degrees, and you start hitting his like shoulder pads. He doesn't get a lot of down, honestly, but he does get a decent amount of up. Given that this guy is supposed to be one of the smaller figures or smaller characters in the line, I don't mind that he's supposed to be looking that he doesn't have a lot of down movement. That being said, I do think he's actually a little too big for the Masterpiece scale. So let me give you some comparisons real quick before I go into articulation. So in terms of like the quote-unquote holy scale chart, he's supposed to, the Insecticons are supposed to be pretty tiny, around, Minibot Bumblebee size. And as you can see, compared to Masterpiece B, he towers over him. And I don't think this is actually very accurate. Whether you like that or not is going to be up to you. To give you another frame of reference, we'll go ahead and bring in a Carbot. So here's Streak, or Blue Streak, whatever you want to call him. And you can see here that he fits a little bit closer towards the Carbots than he does with the Minibots. And I do appreciate that he's smaller than the Carbots, but I still think he's too big, to be perfectly honest. And that's actually kind of a problem with the Bagkey ones as well. I think they're a little too tall in robot mode. Just to give you another quick comparison, since I do have one. And for those of you who collect the Combiner Wars line, here's him next to the Combiner Wars Bombshell. And he's close to being 50% taller, or twice as tall, not 50% tall, taller. So still looking very good. You can see that they're both very reminiscent of the same figure they're homaging. But yeah, that's it for my comparisons. The actual articulation, we started with the head, like I said, on the ball joint. His arms, so there's a couple things going on with his arms. You can go all the way around like that. He does have a bicep swivel. He does have a shoulder swivel that goes up like that. He does have double jointed elbows that give him the ability to fold up like so. And then he has wrist articulation, a wrist swivel. And his hands are just kind of like Carbot Masterpiece in the sense that they're one molded piece for all four fingers and a molded in place thumb. So pretty accurate to what you would expect from a Masterpiece figure of this size. He does have shoulder articulation on the inside, so not just this one here, but also up here. And that's really because you can rotate what would be his kind of, I guess, eyes for his beetle mode. You can actually rotate that around, and you can see that now I have it rotated forward. You can see that gap here. You can rotate it around just so you can get a different type of swivel. But obviously if you rotate it down like this, it looks kind of goofy. For alt mode, you're going to have to rotate it so it's the opening is facing the back. Here, let me try to get it around that way. Because you're going to need that for transformation. But the reason why you have it, I can't seem to get it back there right now. But the reason why you might want to have it facing upwards in robot mode, and I think that's the accurate transformation, I don't have instructions so I can't be sure, is so that you can get even a little bit more shoulder articulation to get him go up like that. And give him a little bit more heroic proportions, which I think he does have. Again, pretty standard for Fans Toys to make their figures a little bit more modernized, sleek, and heroic. Other articulation, he does have a waist swivel, which is very tight on mine. There we go. Yeah, so again, pre-production sample, there's going to be some tolerances that they're probably going to tweak a bit. Legs go up like so, go back just as far, as long as you don't run into anything. They come out to the side. Even though the legs are very, very heavy, this has no problem. This joint has no problem holding up. A swivel there. Double jointed knees, so you can get a good amount of bend. You can probably get even a little bit more. And then coming down to the foot, there's a lot of things going on. Some are for transformation that you can make use of in robot mode for articulation, but his toe can go down. His heel, since it's made up of his bug mode, you can kind of pivot that up and down. He does have this weird piece here that I thought was supposed to tab in, but doesn't. I don't know if that's a mistake or not, but it looks like it should tab in, but all the photos I've seen actually show it not tabbing in. And then you also have a little ankle tilt here. But if you want to extend this down, you actually have kind of an ankle joint there that lets you go forward, creating a gap here, so it's not the best use. And then you can actually use the transformation and get a little bit of rotation for the ankle as well. Again, it's really mostly for transformation, but if you want to make use of it for some articulation, you definitely can. Coming around to the back, you do have a big backpack, and again, I don't know the exact transformation. I tried to base it off of what I saw from the official pictures from Fans Toys, but this is the way kind of I've done it. But I think it might be supposed to be something like this. I've seen it like this. I just fill it in like this, and I'll show you when we do transformation. While most of the pictures have his kind of blaster or beetle horn down this way in robot mode, I actually kind of like it going up, but I wanted to show it this way. I'll show it off when we go into transformation in just a second. But yeah, that's really it for robot mode. Really nice. The only thing I don't really like about it in the lower body is that his hips and his waist are a little thin. As you can see, they get thin, really thin here, and then they kind of block out here, and then they block out again at the thighs. You can see the thighs are much blockier and wider than the actual hips themselves. Not terrible, but I think they could have done a little bit better there. But yeah, that's it for my robot mode review. Let's go ahead and get into Robo 2 Alt Transformation. So to get into transformation, we're going to start off with the upper body. So the upper body kind of deals with the backpack first. So let's just go ahead and extend these legs out and rotate these down. And these legs, front and middle legs, are on a mechanism here. And what you're going to have to do is come and pull back on these pieces, and you can see there's a small tab slot there and a tab right there that it goes into. So you're going to want to pull that out and rotate it up like this and just get them out of the way. You're going to want to open up his chest, which is tabbed in. It's kind of hard to get in there. There we go. So really quickly before I go forward, I wanted to show you that you can untab this. As part of transformation, you can open this up. And right here, if you wanted, like I had it before this video, I went ahead and rotated that up. And so when I had it transformed the way kind of I like it, it had the blaster kind of sitting behind his head. So it's a different silhouette, but I think it looks better once you have everything rotated back and transformed into place, because I think it makes his backpack a little bit more even looking than being kind of bottom weighted. So yeah, this is kind of the way I was transforming it. And I think it just makes for a slightly cleaner look overall to have it this way. Something like that. So you can see it's a little bit higher up on the back, and not so low on his butt. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back into the transformation. Again, getting back to where we had the chest open, and we untab the back. So this piece that we untabbed and then split apart in half, that allows you to free up the beetle horn to rotate it around, and then the head will go in the main body. Then you can close up this tab. You can go ahead and come back to the back, close this up, and tab that back into place. Now you'll be able to start rotating the shoulders. So remember I said that there were some extra rotation in the shoulders where it's kind of beetle eyes, quote unquote, are. You can rotate that down, and then you can see that the gaps align. What you can do is fold the shoulders back, and the underside of the forearms have a tab and slot corresponding. They're mirrored, and you're going to want to just go ahead and get them kind of like so, and get them to kind of sit down. Oops. Yeah, just try to get them to get situated like so. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and bring down the mechanism that holds the front and middle legs, and that tab will go into the top side of the forearm on either side, and that tabs in very securely. Then you can go ahead and mess with the legs how you'd like. So the lower part is pretty interesting. It's much different than I had imagined at first. So go ahead and straighten out these insect legs. You're going to flip the heel down like so, or that weird part that doesn't tab in. You're going to want to rotate the middle section here out. So the part that the insect legs are attached to, they're going to rotate out like that. You want to rotate the thighs here, like so. And then you're going to collapse it on itself like this. And you can see these two halves will be coming together. And make sure that you're using the lower joint there on the knee so that the legs go in completely like that. Tab the two halves in. You can get them aligned. There we go. This toe piece folds up. Coming back to the bottom, just messing with these insect legs. Position them really however you'd like. You can rotate the horn and extend it outward. And there we have Bombshell in insect mode, or alt mode, sorry. And I really like the alt mode. I think these more realistic legs that they provide are way cooler than the kind of boring looking nubs that the other ones are. So I saw the other ones before at TFCon, and I definitely like these legs better. They just make it look more realistic in terms of, you know, what you would expect a robot beetle to look like with all the different segments. So they do have a lot of articulation in each individual leg. So they swing here at the main body, they rotate, they have three segments here, so the rotation here, the swivel here, the swivel there. Same thing on this one. You can rotate this forward or back. You can rotate here like a, I guess, leg swivel, biceps, thigh swivel for, and then you only have one extra joint here. And then the front one, you don't have that. You don't have the same kind of look, but you do still have that same swivel. You still have that rotation. You still have that pin, this pin, and another pin. So the front and back legs kind of have similar articulation, but more, there's an extra pin here. So you get the most in the front. And they're pretty stiff to the point where as long as you have them all kind of working in unison, they do a really good job of keeping the figure up and in different poses. So you can get it going up pretty high, or you can get it going pretty low if you'd like to have kind of a crouching look to it. So I really do like these legs better than the alternative ones, the G1 ones. Let's see, as far as other stuff that I know about, I know that when you have the blaster that you can store it in the back of alt mode and it kind of sticks out like a tail. So again, I apologize for not having that. But unfortunately, I wasn't given that with my test shot. The articulation here on the front is really just for transformation. You can rotate it if you want. You can rotate it here and here. If you want to get it a little bit lower like this or higher, whatever. I don't know how accurate that is to a real beetle. But yeah, you get that kind of articulation. And that's really about it. You don't really get anything else for this figure in terms of articulation in alt mode. But it still looks really nice. I love it. I love it. I don't really have anything transformed into alt mode right now to give you a good comparison. But it's probably a little bit longer than, or about the same length as a MP Carbide from the rear to the end of the horn. But yeah, nice quick 360. This mode is definitely my favorite of the two, just because I love the legs. I just do. Get Grenadier back in robot mode. So pretty easy. We're going to just go backwards. We'll just collapse this and then come around to the bottom here. We're going to untab the pieces that connect the front to insect legs. Then we're going to go to the bottom and split the bottom half like so and just extend it outwards. From here you can rotate the insect leg in this section here, making sure if this were rotated with it, since it's so tight, just rotate that along back and go around here like so. Fold up the insect leg, fold out the toe, fold out the heel, get that kind of situated, and then you rotate the thigh. So same thing on the other side, just rotate this middle section in, rotate this toe piece out, the heel out. Again, it doesn't tab in. Rotate this around, and then curl it all up like so. Something like that. And then rotate at the thigh. Oops, rotate the other way at the thigh. Scooting up. We're going to go ahead and deal with the upper body now. So the upper body, we'll go ahead and untab the arms and rotate them out. And this is where you're going to want to rotate the shoulders up, because right now the shoulders sit a little far back. So what you're going to do, well, or at least what I found easiest, is to rotate the shoulders slightly backwards and then apply pressure upwards, and that allows you to rotate fairly easily. So doing that again, rotate up, and then you kind of see where you're in the correct position when you see these two pins facing you. And then you can rotate the shoulders down. Alright, and now we're going to go to the front and open up the chest, and then untab this back section here that we showed off earlier. And we're going to go ahead and transform it back into the official transformation, or at least what I think is official. Open this up, rotate this whole head section towards the front of the body, rotate the horn down, and then close up those two halves. Once you get that done, you can tab this back in. There's two tabs and slots there. Same thing on the front, two tabs and slots. Those tab in very securely. And then we're going to bring these arm platforms down again. And as we showed before, there's a couple of recesses for the tabs here to slide into. And because I believe this is die cast, the chest piece, it doesn't tab in again very securely, more along the lines, just sits there. Especially this one side for me. Again, it could be a tolerance issue with the pre-production sample, but just something to be aware of. Plastic and die-cast tabbing systems usually aren't all that secure. And then with the arms, you do whatever you want. I kind of like bringing this up like so and kind of fill in the back, and then filling this in like so. And again, I don't have the official transformation instructions, but something like this will give you a decent looking backpack that isn't too large. And with that, we have Grenadier back in robot mode. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into final thoughts. So I really do like Fans Toys. They've been one of my favorites ever since I got into collecting. Quake Wave still easily in my top, top 5 favorite Transformers. The fact that we're getting a reissue of them does make me kind of squee inside, even though I have the original. But that clear version, that clear version though, I definitely need to get that. So, but yeah, their Grenadier or their not Bombshell is a really good MP version. Again, the major qualms I have with it are kind of the backpack. I do wish that they were a little bit closer or further along the spectrum of being a little bit more integrated with the horn as like the weapon. So Bad Cube uses this horn as their weapon. I kind of would have liked that instead of having have a separate weapon. I think if they found a way to integrate it into the transformation, I would have liked that a bit better. I don't really like the heels all that much, but again, you'll get a little bit less protrusion out of the quote G1 legs. The other thing that I didn't notice before, but I'm noticing now, is that the color of the knees here are just a dull gray. I don't know why they're not painted. Same thing with the hips here, although you can barely see them. But the knees, they kind of stand out both in the front and as the back as just being kind of this unpainted plastic, which is not that attractive, honestly. And last but not least, I do like the purple, but I do kind of wish they had something cool going on, like Bad Cubes, to give you that color changing aspect of the figure itself. But then again, they do a lot of great things. They do give you those extra legs. They do give you not only this yellow chest, but the translucent chest, which I don't have, but you will have once you get this figure. So there's a lot of great things about it. Again, the last big thing for those of you who are really big into scale is the fact that he is a little bit taller than I think he should be for the Masterpiece line. So that's going to either be a make or break decision for a lot of you. For me, I'm okay with it just because overall I still think this is a really, really, really great figure. Really solid, super heavy and dense. What you've come to expect from Fan Toys as far as overall quality and feel. You never are really disappointed with the Fans Toys figure, honestly. So that's really it for my review. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and share with your friends. As always, if you want to keep up to date with me, go ahead and click that subscribe button floating around here, or go ahead and head over to my Facebook page, P4L Life Reviews, on Facebook, and like that page. But yeah, thanks again to Fans Toys as well as Toy Dojo, my sponsor, for allowing me to do this early review of this pre-production sample. If you want to pick this guy up for pre-order for yourself in your collection, go ahead and click on the Toy Dojo link in the description below. And with that, I'll go ahead and sign off and say hope everyone has a good weekend.